Okay, I get you. You have to go to shul, so let me get you
Yeah,
going.
that'll be
Okay,
good.
Menachos. We are on Daled base. The bulls, the rams, and the lambs are not essential to one another. Validity. Reb Shimon says if they had many bulls but no libations, they should bring one bull with its libations rather than offering all of them without libations. The bull, the rams, the lambs, and the goat are not essential to the validity of the bread, nor is the bread essential to their validity. The bread is essential to the validity of the lambs, but the lambs are not essential to the validity of the bread. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. Reb Shimon ben Anna says, not so. Rather, the lambs are essential to the validity of the bread, while the bread is not essential to the validity of the lambs. For we find that when Israel was in the wilderness for 40 years, the lambs were offered without bread. Therefore, now too, the lambs can be offered without bread. Reb Shimon says that halakha follows the words of Menachos, but not for his reason. For whatever is mentioned in the book of Numbers was offered in the wilderness, and whatever is mentioned in Leviticus was not offered in the wilderness once they came to the land of Israel. Both these and those were offered. Why do they say that lambs may be offered without bread? Because the lambs render themselves permissible without bread, but the bread without the lambs has nothing to render it permissible. The Talmud offerings are not essential to the validity of the Musaf offerings, nor are the Musaf offerings essential to the validity of the Talmud offerings, nor are the Musaf offerings essential to each other's validity. If they did not offer a lamb in the morning, they should nonetheless offer one in the afternoon, said Reb Shimon. When they acted under constraint or unwittingly. However, if they acted intentionally and did not offer the lamb in the morning, they may not offer one in the afternoon. If they did not burn the incense in the morning, they burned it in the afternoon. Said Reb Shimon, all of it was offered in the afternoon, for the golden offering was dedicated only with the burning of the incense, and the ola offering only with the talmud of the morning, and the shulchan only with the lechem abanim in the Sabbath, and the menorah only with the 7 lamps in the afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
So now that was actually the wrong set of chazaras, but that's the week ago set of chazaras. So you
The
can go
one,
again on Zion base. I got confused because I was also looking at base, but it was correct Zion, and then I saw you were doing Dalet base, and I said, okay, what the heck? I'll just let you do it.
like, was Zion base?
Yeah, we're on Zion base now.
I have oh, because I took volume A before volume B.
Ah,
That's why my tissue is in Zion base. Okay. Uh,
okay.
all right. So now where are we exactly?
We're
Should
on the
be
Miluim. We're in Zion base. The Miluim came. How you buy them matzah? They came like the matzah offerings that were in the Torah sacrifice.
if you want me to read this one now?
Yes, please.
The initiation offerings were brought like the matzah of the Torah
So the
offerings.
initiation. This is when This is historically. This is the once-off time when they initiated the Mishkan.
Okay. Kalos, Rukim, and Revuka, that of the Nazir consisted of 2 parts of the matzah of the Torah offering, Kalos and Rikikin. But it has no Revuka, thus it consists of 10 Yerushalayim calves, which equals 6 Isronos and the excess. From all of them, it would take 1/10 for Truma, as it stated, and it shall bring forth from it one from every offering as a Truma to Hashem. One, that he may not take broken from every offering, or that all the offerings should be equal, and that he may not take from one offering for another. To the Kohen who throws the blood of the Shalom offering, it shall be long, and the remainder is eaten by the owner. Shalaman. If one slaughtered the total offering inside while its loaves were outside the wall, and bread is not sanctified, if he stored it before they became crusted in the oven, or if it was over crusted except for one, the bread is not sanctified. If he stored it for beyond its time or for outside the place, the bread is sanctified. And if he slaughtered it and it was found to be trefa, the bread is not sanctified. If he slaughtered it and was found to be a blemish, but Eliezer says it is sanctified, but the sages say it is not sanctified. If he slaughtered it for designation other than its own, and so too the initiation ram, and so too the 2 lambs of Shavuos, which one slaughtered for designation other than their own, the bread is not sanctified. If libations were sanctified in the vessel and the sacrifice was found to be invalid, if there is another sacrifice present, they are offered with it, and if not, they become invalid by being left overnight. The offering of a total offering is truma, and is one who set aside a total offering, and it was lost, and he set aside another in its place, do not require bread, as it is stated, and he shall offer with the sacrifice of the total offering. The total offering requires bread, but neither its offspring, its replacement, nor its chamora require bread. Okay.
Okay. So up until now we've been talking about the Toda offering and the fact that it's that it needs to have all these breads with it, but the breads are still secondary to the actual korban itself. So the breads only become sanctified when the Toda is shechted, and that's only if they're all ready and everything goes well with the korban. Anyway, so now we're going to have a little bit of a crossover with Maaseh Sheni, which we happen to be learning at this time as well. We were just learning Maaseh Sheni like a couple last week. Okay, so Ha'omer Hari Alai Toda. So a guy takes upon himself to bring a Toda offering. Now he's made a personal obligation to bring a Toda. And when he does that, he has to bring it from unsanctified food. Okay, he's got to take something that's completely chulin and bring it. In other words, he cannot use Maaser Sheni to fulfill his obligation. Okay, because Maaser Sheni is already sanctified. Okay. Toda min hachulin v'lachma min maaser. If he makes a condition though, he says, I'm going to bring a toda from chulin, but I'm going to bring the bread that comes with it from maaser sheni, which is legitimate, in principle, because you're going to eat the bread from the maaser sheni. So remember, maaser sheni has to be eaten. So, and we encourage people actually to bring korbanos from maaser sheni. It's a good use of it, but because the Toda is the primary and the bread is the secondary, Yavi lachma min achulin, his statement is ineffective. Because he said that he was going to bring his Toda from chulin, then the lechem also has to come from chulin. If he says the other way around, Toda min maaser v'lachma min achulin, if he says he's going to bring the animal from maaser sheni money, but the bread he'll bring from chulin, that's fine. He can bring it exactly like that, and he should bring it exactly like that. Okay, in other words, his bread must also come from chulin. Hatoda he v'lachma min maaser yavi, and if he also stipulates that he wants to use maaser sheni money for both the animal and for the bread, that's legit. V'lo yavi mechite maaser sheni elami maos maaser sheni, but says the Mishnah, it's not appropriate to actually literally bring the maaser sheni wheat, the original maaser sheni wheat, and schlep that to Jerusalem. He should convert it into money and then use the money to buy wheat in Yerushalayim. Why not? Actually, I don't know. I looked in Kati and he doesn't. He just states that this is the halacha. I'm curious if Oskrol says anything about why not to bring from actual Maaser Sheni grains.
No, I don't see. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't see it.
In the Mishnah, hey, okay.
Let's see.
Okay, never mind. We can move on. Mishnah Vav. Min nayin laomer harei alai toda lo yavi ela min achulin. So how do we know that if somebody takes on himself to bring a Torah, he must bring it from chulin? Shenemar v'zavachta pesach l'Hashem Elokecha tzonu bakar. So it says the pasuk, you shall bring a korban pesach for Hashem. So it's learning out from the pesach. It says tzonu bakar. Halo ein pesach ba ela min hakvasim u min ha'izim. The korban pesach has to be from sheep or goats. Why is it mentioning tzon? Why is it mentioning tzon or bakar? So tzon is fine, but bakar is not, because you can't bring a cow for your korban. If you're a korban pesach, in Kain, lama ne'mar tzon bakar. Why is the Torah saying tzon bakar? Ela lahakish kol haba min bakar umin hatzon lepesach. Rather, it's to make a connection to everything else that's from cattle and flocks to the korban pesach. Ma pesach shu ba b'chova. Just like korban pesach is an obligation on everyone. Eno ba ela min chulin. So we know that the korban pesach has to come from chulin. Called the Vashihu Baba Chova. So any other korban that is brought for an obligatory offering, lo yavo ela min chulin. That also must come from chulin.
No, go ahead. I'm following.
Therefore, ha'omer harei alai todah. As soon as a person says harei alai todah, harei alai shlamim, even if he says shlamim hoil v'heim ba'im b'chova, now he's created an obligation on himself. That obligation can only be fulfilled lo yavo ela min ha'chulin. So therefore, once it's an obligation on himself, he has to bring it from chulin. V'nesachim b'chol makom lo yavo ela min ha'chulin, and the libations that come along with it also must only come from chulin. And this is a general rule because the nesachim have to go on the mizbeach, right? They're not
Right.
eaten by people, and maaser sheni has to be eaten by people. So you cannot use maaser sheni funds for something that's going to be burned on the mizbeach. Okay, so that is just a general. Even if you declare it up front, now I want to give my nesachim from maaser sheni. No, cannot, because that's considered a waste of maaser sheni. Okay, perches. Kol korbanos hatzibur v'yachid ba'im min haaretz u'michutz la'aretz. It's any korban that you bring, it's fine. It doesn't matter where it comes from, Eretz Yisrael or from outside Eretz Yisrael. Min hachadash min hayashan, if it comes from the old crop or the new crop. Chutz min ha'omer shtei halechem. Except the korban ha'omer and the shtei halechem for Shavuos, she'enam ba'im ela min hachadash u'min haaretz. They have to come from the new crop of Eretz Yisrael. That's just straight halacha, that the korban ha'omer is coming to be matir everything else in the new crop, and the shtei halechem also has to come from that new crop. Okay, but everything that comes onto the mizbeach, all of the grains have to come, all of the whatever produce goes on the mizbeach has to come from the highest grade material. Okay, so where do you get the highest grade stuff? Michamas mizonicha alpha lesolis. So the flour, the best place for the wheat that comes from flour comes from a place called Michmas and from Mizonicha. Where are these places? Michmas is, some people say that this is the city Michmash, which is mentioned in Sefer Shmuel, and Mizonicha or Zanocha, which could be Zanoach, right by Beit Shemesh.
Right.
It's interesting because I've never seen wheat growing over here. Actually, it's not true. It's not true. They were before they built Mishkafayim. That area used to be farmed for, and they had wheat crops over there.
It was farmed. I'm here 13 years.
It was that area of Mishkafayim. I remember seeing crops being grown over there.
I remember that. Wow.
Yeah. And I have seen wheat farms in the area around Beit Shemesh. Anyway, so apparently Zanoach was a good place for that. Shnia lahem chafarim babika. So the secondary place, if you can't get from them, then okay, go for chafarim, which is in the valley, which is mentioned in Divrei Hayamim. Kol haaretz hayu kasheros ela mikan hayu meviim. So everywhere was fine. You know, it's not like there was bad wheat out there. If it was bad, then it wouldn't bring it. But these were the choicest places, and that's where they would bring from. Okay, and now we can go back to Zavachim.
Now we should be at Zion.
Zavachim Heiches.
What I took the tissue out. Oh man. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One who says, "I take upon myself to bring in a Machshavas, and not bring it in a Markeshes." If he says in a Markeshes, he may not bring it in a Machshavas. What is the difference between a Machshavas and a Markeshes? Markeshes has a cover, and a Machshavas.
No, you're in the wrong Masechta. We're in Zavachim.
Oh, I went to Menachos. Oh man.
We already did the Chazara on Menachos.
Oh, I know. Okay, all right. Zavachim. Here we go. Heiches. The Bechor offering, the Misa offering, and the Pesach offering are offerings of lesser holiness. Their slaughter may be anywhere in the courtyard, and the blood requires one application, but it must apply it opposite the base. They differ in the manner of the consumption. The Bechor offering is eaten only by Kohanim, and the Misa offering by anyone, and they may be eaten throughout the city by anyone, prepared in any manner for 2 days and 1 night. The Pesach offering may be eaten at night and be eaten only until midnight, and it may be eaten only by those registered for it, and may be eaten only roasted. The most holy offerings were slaughtered on the top of the altar. I skipped the page. No, top of the altar. And Rabbi Yossi says it is if they had been slaughtered in the north. Rabbi Yossi ben Yehuda says from the middle of the altar and northward is as the north. To the middle of the altar and southward is as the south. The Mincha offering would have been their korban separated elsewhere, so anywhere in the courtyard, and they are eaten within the curtains by male kohanim prepared in any manner for a day and a night until midnight. The bird carcass would be offered at the southwest corner of the altar, and it was valid in any place, but this was its place. That corner served for 3 things below and 3 above. Below, the bird carcass and the bringing near and the remainder of the blood. Above, the libation of the water, the wine and the bird ola, where there were too many on the east side of the altar. Okay. All who are set. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
Okay. And we have Adios. Adios, Aleph Yud Aleph. With regard to a bridal chair, whose spindles were removed, Beis Shammai declares Tamai, but Beis Hillel declared Tahor. Shammai says even the malbin of the chair is Tamei. With regard to a chair that one affixed to it a kneading trough, Beis Shammai declares it Tamei. The Beis Hillel declares it Tahor. Shammai says even the chair made originally to be in the kneading trough is susceptible unto its midrash. Beis Shammai, there are 3 matters about which Beis Hillel will reverse themselves to the henceforth rule in accordance with the view of Beis Shammai. If a woman came from overseas and she said, "My husband died overseas," she may marry. "My husband died overseas," she may be taken in Yibum. But Beis Hillel says we have not heard this tradition except in a case which comes from the grain harvest. Beis Shammai said to them, "It is the same whether she comes from the harvest, and it is the same whether she comes from the harvest of olives, and it is the same whether she comes from overseas." And the rabbi spoke of the terms of harvest only because that was the incident as it happened. And subsequently, Beis Hillel reversed themselves to henceforth rule in accordance with Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai say she may marry and collect a ketubah. Beis Hillel said she may remarry, but she does not collect a ketubah. Beis Shammai said to them, "If you have permitted the grave matter of erva, shall you not then certainly permit the last grave matter of money?" Beis Hillel said to them, "We find that the brothers do not enter possession of the estate on the basis of her testimony." And Beis Shammai said to them, "But we can learn this ruling from a ketubah document where he writes there that if you marry another, you will take what is written to you." And Beis Hillel reversed themselves to henceforth rule in accordance with the opinion of Beis Shammai. One who is half slave and who is half free man, rather for the benefit. One works for the day for his master, and one for himself, and one day for himself. These are the words of Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai said to Beis Hillel, "You have provided a solution for his master, but for him himself you have not provided a solution. He is not able to marry a slave woman, and he is not able to marry a free woman. She shall remain idle, but was not the world created only for the propagation, as it is said, He, God, did not create it in the world to be desolate. He formed it to be inhabited. Rather for the benefit of society, we force his master, and he must make him a completely free man, and the slave must write him a note for half his value." Subsequently, Beis Hillel reversed themselves to thenceforth rule in accordance with the view of Beis Shammai. Okay. And we are into Nadarim. Okay, Yud Beis. Is the father dies, the sole right does not fall to the husband. If the husband dies, the sole right does not fall to the father. In this matter, the power of the father surpasses that of the husband. In another matter, the power of the husband surpasses that of the father. For a husband can revoke the wife's nidarim even after she has been a begaris, while the father cannot revoke her nidarim once she has become a begaris. If she vowed while she was betrothed and she was divorced on the same day, and betrothed again on the same day, even to 100 men, her father and her current husband revoke her nidarim. This is the general rule. As long as she had never entered into a state of independence for even 1 hour, her father and her current husband revoke her nidarim. For once, it was the custom of scholars that as long as one's daughter had not left him, he would say to her, "All nidarim which you have made in my house are revoked," and so too the husband, before she would come under his authority, would say to her, "All nidarim which you have made prior to coming under my authority are revoked." But once she came under his authority, he could not revoke them.
Okay.
And we are on to Pala. Okay. Chala and Truma carry the penalties of death, and the additional fifth are forbidden to non-priests. And the additional fifth are forbidden to non-priests, are property of the priest, are neutralized in 101, requiring the washing of hands and sunset. and may not be separated from the clean from the unclean, and only from that which is nearby and from which finished products. If one says that all my threshing floor be truma and all my dough challah, he has said nothing unless he leaves part of it over. Part of it. Produce, that is, any of the 5 species of grain from outside the land of Israel, which entered the land, which was brought into Eretz Yisrael, is liable to challah. Seeing that the dough is rolled in as Eretz Yisrael, when you come into the land into which I bring you there, which implies that once there you must separate.
I think you skipped a page.
I didn't skip a page. I'm reading the Kahani. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Produce from outside the land, which entered the land, is liable to challah, and if it went there from here, Rabbi Eliezer obligates and Rabbi Akiva exempts. And soil from outside the land, which came into the land, and the ship is liable to Maasros and to the 7th year. Rabbi Yehuda said, when the ship touches the ground, dough which has been kneaded with fruit juice is liable to challah and may be eaten with unclean hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gayim. All garments become tamei from a Gayim except those of Gentiles. Clothing purchased from a Gentile should be examined initially. Some of sea creatures do not become tamei with a Gayim. One attach something that grows on land to the sea skin, even a thread or a string, anything that is generally acceptable to tumah, it is tamei. Camel's wool and sheep's wool that were mixed together, if the majority is from camels, they do not become tamei from the Gayim. If the majority is from sheep, they become tamei from the Gayim. If the wool is mixed half and half, they become tamei with the Gayim, and the same applies to linen and hemp that were mixed together. Colored leather and garments do not become tamei with the Gayim. Houses, regardless of their color, become tamei with the Gayim. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says leather is like houses. Rabbi Shimon says those colored naturally by heaven become tamei, and those dyed by man do not become tamei.
Okay, and that's it. And I'm out of here.
Okay, I won't see you until maybe next Friday. I'm coming back Thursday night.
Oh, are you leaving
tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning.
Anyway, so
enjoy yourself.
Thank you. Well, thank you. And I hope the son-in-law feels better. I hope everything goes.
Thank you.